The first position is sitting in the chute. The feet, the plane joint, are at plantar flexion. The knees, the hinge joints, are at flexion. The ball and socket, the hips, are flexion. The back, the pivot joint, is at flexion. The right shoulder, ball and socket, is at a depressed state, adduction, and flexion. Left shoulder, ball and socket, is at a depressed state, and abduction. Right wrist plane joint is at extension, and the left wrist plane joint is also at extension. The right hand, middle finger through pinky, the condylar joints, is flexed. The saddle joint is extended and supinating. The left hand condylar joint, middle finger through pinky, is flexed, and the saddle joint is extended and supinating as well. The neck or the pivot joint is rotated lateral. The right elbow hinge joint is flexion, and the left elbow hinge joint is flexion. The second position is the head nod. Your feet, the plane joints, are in plantar flexion. Your knees, the hinge joints, are in flexion. Both hips, the ball and socket joints, are in flexion. Your back, the pivot joints, are in flexion. Your right shoulder, the ball and socket joints, are in elevation, go through circumduction, and are in abduction. Your left shoulder, also ball and socket joints, are depressed and abduction. Your right elbow, the hinge joint, is in flexion. Your left elbow, the hinge joint, is in extension. Your right wrist, the plane joint, is in extension, along with your left wrist. Your right hand, the condylar joints, the middle finger through the pinky, are flexed. The saddle joint is extended, and your hand is supinating. Your left hand is also supinating, and your condylar joints in your middle through your pinky finger are flexed. Your saddle joint is extended. Your neck, the pivot joint, is rotated laterally and is flexing and extending.
The third movement is the throwing of the rope. Extension of the shoulder, pronation of the hand, middle finger to pinky is flexed. Thumb and forefinger extended. Elbow is extended. Carpals flexion. Legs are extended. Feet are plantar flex. Knees extended. Upper body is flexed.
Pitching slack. Upper body's extended back is in depression. Upper arm is in adduction. Carpals are in flexion. Phalanges are also in flexion. Condylar joints are flexed. Saddle joint is extended. Both knees and joints are flexed. Toes are in plantar flex.